It's been over 4 months since the Sturgis motorcycle rally, but the fallout from the people who were arrested during the rally continues. And some of those who were arrested were caught in sex trafficking stings put on by state and federal agents with the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, or ICAC. In tonight's Eye on KELOLAND, we were able to gain exclusive access to take you behind the scenes to one of the operations as investigators go looking for those who prey on young children. The 83rd Annual Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. It's a place where bikers come to have fun. But hidden in the shadows and underneath the roar of the engines are silent screams for help. Authorities say that the rally is a hotbed of activity for sex trafficking.
So this is a child exploitation operation where we're focusing on online enticement and solicitation of minors.
KELOLAND News was invited to come along to Sturgis with the Internet Crimes Against Children's Task Force to see how agents conduct their undercover sting operations during the rally. Sturgis attracts hundreds of thousands of bikers every year, and officials say the bigger the event, the bigger the risk for sex trafficking.
Sex trafficking is an issue across the United States, and South Dakota is not immune to that. Whenever we have large events with large number of people, unfortunately, it's here.
That's why authorities go undercover.
When we run an operation like this, a multi-day operation, we do a fair amount of planning ahead of time, picking locations, things that we're going to do, the backstories that we're going to use, things like that. So there's quite a little bit of planning that goes into that on the front end before we actually start that operation.
When the rally started, about a dozen agents sat behind closed doors, working on computers to have conversations on social media and dating websites. They build profiles pretending to be 12 to 15-year-old girls and boys.
Once those profiles are up, we wait for individuals to reach out to the profile and begin communicating with the undercover.
During their conversations, they make it very clear how old they're pretending to be. They even send pictures that have been doctored to make them look like a young child.
Most of the people will back down at that point and say, you were too young, you shouldn't be on this, and they won't talk to you.
The agents worked long hours into the night. They had lots of conversations the 2 nights that we were with them, but they didn't find anyone who was willing to meet up. Earlier in the week, though, federal agents with Homeland Security conducted their own sexting operations and arrested 4 people. According to court documents, James Fasthorse thought he was going to meet a 14-year-old girl for sex, but it was actually an undercover agent. 41-year-old James Dreamer of Pine Ridge was also arrested for a similar crime. 42-year-old Vincent Barrios was arrested because he too thought he was meeting a 13-year-old girl. And 38-year-old Jacob Wilson was also arrested in the sting for communicating with an undercover agent who was pretending to be a 12-year-old girl. Wilson is a registered sex offender. Here's part of that conversation. He allegedly told the undercover agent, who went by the name of Emily, quote, "We can do more," end quote. Emily replied, "Like what, LOL?" He said, "Bend you over, LOL. Will it hurt?" He replied, "No." Emily then said, "Do you care that I'm 12 years old?" He replied, "Don't care about that." So they agreed to meet up at Canyon Lake Little League Field's parking lot, where Wilson was taken into custody. Investigators with the DCI say it doesn't take much to commit a crime.
If they were to request a naked picture of the undercover, a crime would occur. If they send a naked picture of themselves to the undercover, a crime would be committed. And if they spoke about any sexual acts that they wanted to perform with the undercover, then a crime would have occurred at that point in time.
Crimes that reoccur over and over, even if they've been caught.
It's not going to change for them, whether it's prison time or whatever. It's what they are attracted to, so they'll keep going back to what they're attracted to.
Part of it is an addiction. Part of it is a belief that they've gotten by with it in other states, and that's why it's so important for us to utilize the media, utilize other efforts of awareness to say, here in South Dakota, we're protecting children.
35-year-old Burton Dave Chief Jr. was also arrested during the rally. He has pleaded guilty to attempted enticement of a minor. And Jacob Wilson also pleaded guilty for trying to meet up with that 12-year-old girl for sex. Sentencing dates for both men have yet to be set. Well, still to come, the Augustana football team claimed a